with Half Dozen Customs. We're out here in the shop today. As you can see, something is missing. This is just kind of like an update of what's going on. We had like the last week, almost the last week of videos that I had been doing out here disappear on us. Last night I went to close out my video and it was saying memory card error. So I went in and we checked it out and all the footage was gone. So on that footage, we moved the Jeep out. So we pretty much got everything all wrapped up with the Jeep as far as putting the inside back together and getting it all cleaned up, washed up and wiped down. And it went back over to my buddy who owns the Jeep, and he is currently putting the motor and trans in it, and getting it running and driving and all that stuff. And he has a motor and trans in it. The standalone wiring kit is all plugged in and ready to go. He pretty much has a whole fuel system ran. He's waiting on a couple of fittings. And then I think he has to wire up everything like, ignition and lights and all that good stuff. So, which some of that stuff isn't, I don't think is going to get wired up until after we're done with it, because like right now it doesn't have headlights or taillights on it. So, but he's getting it all wired up to where it will actually run and drive. I don't know if he's going to go have exhaust put on it yet, or if that's going to get done after we're done, but when it comes back over here, it should be running and driving. In the meantime, we're going to get the front end all jammed out, and we're going to get the bed painted. But while that is gone, it is a good time to go through and clean the shop. If you look over my shoulder, there's bucket and rag and mop bucket, and vacuum is out, and we have pressure washed the whole floor in here, and was kind of doing like before and afters for you guys. I wasn't videoing like me cleaning my shop because who wants to watch that, but I was doing like before and afters, and it's all gone. We also lost a little bit of footage for Monday. It wasn't a huge thing. I did some sandblasting on the fender. I ran out of light. We didn't even get it done. I didn't even record everything that I was doing, because who wants to just watch me stand there and sandblast? So, I kind of started the video showing, getting set up and starting to sandblast and whatnot. And I shut you guys off there. And then I kind of, once we got back in the shop when we ran out of light, I kind of showed you guys what we had gotten done, and that's what's missing. There was only maybe like 10 minutes worth of footage, so not a huge deal that we lost. We did lose pulling the Jeep out. I do have some pictures of pulling the Jeep out, but as far as the recordings that we had of me pulling the Jeep out, those are gone. So that's a bummer deal, because that was a big milestone of that thing being cleaned and detailed and pulled out for the first time in quite some time. So, but anyways, I'll kind of show you guys. I'm out here to keep cleaning. I think we started on Father's Day, which was last Sunday, I believe, and we started with pressure washing the floor in here. And then Monday, I did some yard work and we did some sandblasting. And then Tuesday, I started cleaning out here, and today is Friday. So, in all that time, like I said, we've pressure washed the whole floor. I pulled all this stuff out over here. Minus that thing, because that thing needs an engine lift to move him. We have pulled everything out and we have pressure washed it all. Cleaned up the seat. We have started in this corner over here. We pulled everything out, we wiped everything down, we mopped the floor, wiped down compressor. We have pulled everything off of the shelves. We have wiped down the shelves. We mopped the floor underneath. We wiped everything down, put it back. Same thing with under here. Over here. We refinished our tabletop. It had been a while since I had done anything with that. You know, wiped everything down, pulled everything down off of those things. We blow them all out, wiped everything down, put it back. And now where I'm at is we are going to start wiping down the cabinet faces. We're going to pull everything out of the cabinets. We're going to vacuum them all out, wipe them all out, wipe everything down that was in them, put it all back. And then we're going to jump up to the top and we're going to start pulling that stuff down and wiping all that stuff and vacuuming and wiping down and putting it all back. So I've kind of showed you the before. I'll show you guys the after. I try and keep my shop clean, but with doing body work and paint and all that stuff, like I don't do a lot of greasy, oily stuff. So my shop is not greasy or oily. It is just very dusty and dirty. And I blow it out a lot, but I don't ever go through and wipe anything down. And I think the last time that we went through and we actually wiped stuff down was when I painted the Oldsmobile. So we are going to be painting the Jeep here shortly. So everything needed to be pulled out, wiped down, cleaned up, and put back up there. And then when we actually paint, we plastic everything off. But I don't want to live in a plastic bubble, so you know, all the body work and priming and sanding and all that stuff, you know, everything gets wasted. So, you know, it's just kind of spring cleaning and we are getting through it. It's a lot of work, but we're getting through it and the shop's looking much, much better. And hopefully something that I had talked about, and I think a couple of past videos, is that like, down here, I want to put cabinet doors, and cabinet doors. So that way, you know, it doesn't get as dirty. It's still going to get dirty, but it'll save it. So, I do want to do that. We got to go get some, I want to just get some 2x4s that I can split down to 1x1s. Need to figure out some hinges. I have a ton around here. I just gotta dig them out and see if I have what I need. Some plywood, and then we have the corrugated metal that we pulled down from this wall. So I'm gonna cut down that corrugated metal to fit inside the 1x1s, and that will actually be our cabinet doors. So it'll match what we got going on around here, and I think it'll look sharp and help keep some stuff clean. And I think it's in this upcoming Monday, the Monte Carlo video. There's a couple times in there. There's one, I trip over some stuff in the corner, and then another time I end up snagging my like sweatshirt on the camera, and almost pulling you guys over, and it's all because this corner was just overflowing and protruding out with just scrap metal. Every time I had a piece of scrap metal, I threw it in that corner. I save everything until the vehicle's done, so that we can kind of lay it all out and be like, look at everything that we cut out of here. And, you know, so it's a bad habit to have, but at the end of the vehicle, and I get to see the vehicle done and see everything that we cut out, it's kind of a cool experience in my eyes. I think it's cool. And then, you know, once the vehicle leaves, I throw it all out. But we've been kind of hoarding all this garbage, basically, and it just got tossed into the corner and it was protruding out. We had Monte Carlo stuff there, we had Jeep stuff there, and it was just a mess. And I've gone through and kind of organized it a couple of times, but it was out in the open, it was holding dust, it was, You know, we had sandblasted in here. All the stuff was full of sand. It was horrible. It was bad. So this was part of the lost footage. I pulled everything out. We cleaned everything. We used to have a plywood shelving unit here with a little side compartment on there that we had like all these pipes and bars and metal in, and you couldn't even see that anymore because there was just so much metal piled up around it. So now we got a couple of Jeep parts down here. We got some steel tucked back in the corner here. You know, it's just scrap metal. It's just pipes and bars and stuff that's too good to throw away. But you know, stuff that I'll eventually make stuff out of, and you know, it's just, if I need a piece of scrap metal, you know, I have it here. So so we got all that cleaned up, and then this is all the stuff that's been cut off of the Jeep that will eventually get tossed. So, but we got this all cleaned up, and you know, unfortunately, that was the footage that was lost. Was me. I had actually videoed me pulling everything out and kind of organizing it on the floor, and then dragging all the cabinets in, and cleaning them all up and getting them mounted. So that was all gone. But I think that corner looks much better. We have room to work now. I'm not tripping over stuff. I'm not snagging stuff when I'm trying to walk through. So yeah, that's awesome. And the amount of garbage that I've thrown away over this past week, and I'm not even done yet. You know, we have one of those, I don't know, green garbage bins with the wheels that you roll out to the thing with the flippy lid on it. They're good size garbage cans. I had it overflowing. You couldn't even close the lid on it, full of just, you know, stuff that I hang on to for no reason. So, but yeah, we were able to get rid of some stuff and clean some stuff and organize some stuff and make stuff shiny again for a little bit. And yeah, so I'll kind of show you guys. I'll pick up back where I left off, even though that we lost it. I'll show you guys once I get some stuff wiped down. I'll show you guys how much better it looks and show you guys what I'm gonna tear down next and clean and so on and so forth. So stay tuned. We will be back. Grab a drink, popcorn, good stuff. I'm out. Okay, we're back out here. Well, I never left, but I'm back on camera. Have not touched the top yet, but I wiped down all the cabinet doors. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but they were really, really dirty. And then we pulled everything out, wiped everything down, put it all back. Threw out a few things. That's all clear coat stuff. That's tape, clear coat. And then this would be the paint area, which you can see I don't keep much paint on hand. So I have a couple of little pints down there that are maybe half full on all of them. So all my pearls, cups, strainers. So, you know, some people, you know, they're like, oh, you gotta have paint in a fireproof cabinet, and I agree with that. But like, you guys just seen how much paint I have here. I'm not spending thousands of dollars on a paint cabinet to hold 3 half pints of paint in them. So, but yeah, so we got all that cleaned up. Now next, I'm gonna start pulling all this stuff down from up top. So I don't think we're gonna do much more tonight. It's after 10:30, so not that I have any plans tonight, but I just don't, I don't know how much longer I want to keep going. I worked out here all morning, and then showered, did lunch, and then we went to a car show, and then we came back, and now I've been, you know, just nonstop cleaning again. So, and it's been like that basically every day, minus the car show. But yeah, so if I do anything else, it's gonna be up top, and I'll tune in and show you guys after it's all wiped down. So, you know, you guys can, you know, just everything is just dusty. So it just needs a bath. That's all. So, anyways, see you guys later. Okay, we're back out here wrapping it up for the night. It's pretty late. I think it's after midnight. So I don't know what I showed you guys, but like, you know, I've gone through, I've cleaned everything out. I think I showed you guys the inside of the cabinets. So got all this stuff pulled down, vacuumed, wiped down, cleaned up, as well as this stuff here. You can see here like how dusty and dirty all that stuff is, and we have wiped down and cleaned all that. So cleaned all this stuff, and we went through here and we pulled everything out, wiped everything down, cleaned it all up, kind of reorganized it all. So looking much better. I think tomorrow we are going to start probably on the top of the toolbox up there, and slowly work our way down. So I do want to go through every drawer in the toolbox, kind of reorganize everything, get rid of, you know, like that stuff. Anything that's not being used, we can get rid of. Clean everything up, you know, but every drawer is dusty, dirty, and I go through quite often and clean out and organize my toolbox, because it drives me nuts that everything's all discombobulated in there. But unfortunately, every time you shut the drawers, everything slides towards the back, and after so many months of using everything ends up slid all the way up against the back of the drawers and the toolbox, and then, you know, the not caring thing starts to kick in, and stuff just ends up getting tossed back in there, and you end up with a messy toolbox again. So but it's time to, you know, go through and clean and organize everything again, and hopefully get some of that stuff all cleaned up and looking better. And I figured this will probably take me all day tomorrow, if not some of the next day as well. You know, this one's not horrible in here, but you know, we do need to pull everything out, wipe everything down, and then put it back. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'm hoping maybe by Tuesday we have all this stuff done here, and then Wednesday we'll work on this corner. But before we do anything with this corner, we're moving this guy over to that corner, and we have to. It's the reason why I'm doing this last. We have to drill a hole through here, going outside, so that we can put the vent outside, coming in, and then be able to hook this guy up to that. Now this air filtration system, it's not normally, when you buy it, it does not get vented outside. It has filters on this side, and it's like an air recirculator. It's got this other vent thing over here on this side that it just pours the air out over here. But I have put this piece on here, as you can see by the metal tape on there, so that we can plumb it outside. And it's no longer an air recirculator, it's more of a booth style setup where it takes the air from here and it pushes it outside. So, but yeah, so then hopefully that'll, you know, over the next few days, we'll get that done. I don't think we're going to do anything with back there. Everything that we did in that corner was mainly what I wanted to do. We may go in the back, and I have my bead roller back there. We'll probably end up bolting it back down to the floor here, and we'll bolt this guy back down to the floor here. Just for now, I'll probably end up moving them again when the truck comes back here, but for now, get it out of the corner. And yeah, and then it's time to start back on the Jeep again. So anyways, it's late. I'm done babbling on. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. See you guys later. Okay, we're back with a little check-in here. It's 11 o'clock at night. So we're just under 2 weeks in. Now we've had some other stuff going on as well, but we're just under 2 weeks in with cleaning. We have gotten everything cleaned up and looking good. Now I still have the drawers to go through on my toolbox. I figure, well, you know, maybe a couple days a week, like in the morning I'll come out here and I'll spend an hour or two cleaning out a couple of drawers. And we'll just do that every couple of days until they're done, because I need to get back to work. But you know, we went through, we cleaned this guy out, reorganized everything. We have cleaned this corner. I just finished this corner. You guys can see the floor is still wet from me mopping. But we have pretty much wiped everything down. I didn't take the tire puller out and blow it off or wipe it down. I left it back there. I vacuumed it all off, blew it off, and wiped down what I could get to. And we pretty much blew out this corner. The other night, I don't know that I filmed any of it or talked about any of it or anything like that. But we moved that guy. He was up here because I wanted them centralized above the vehicle. I've said that several times. I don't mean to be a repeater, but I wanted it centralized over the vehicle so that we had a draw around the vehicle, which I thought was a good idea until I started working on this Jeep and started hitting my head on it. So it was not a good idea. So we moved it over to this corner, which originally was my first plan of attack, was that I was either going to put it here or there. And after thinking about it and talking with Colleen, we decided to put it up in the center, and that didn't work out. But I also have, it is now vented outside. I don't know if like I said, I don't know if I recorded any of this or me talking about it or whatever, but it is currently now plugged in. Before, with it being over the center of the truck, I was having to run an extension cord to it, and it was not vented outside. Now I did get everything to do that. I have some, that aluminum tube that's in that box. It's one of those crinkle things like what's up there, but it's super long. It's like 20 feet long. So it was enough to run from the center where we had it over there. I had just never done it. And I'm glad that I didn't go through and do it, because once it was there, I didn't like it. So, but we got all that done. Squirrel moment. Look at that moth. He's cool. Check him out, huh? He's big. So, so I think we're pretty much done cleaning here, other than, like I said, the drawers in the toolbox. I mean, there's, you know, like, I didn't go through and wipe any of this stuff down. I pressure washed the legs for that. I pressure washed the legs for that. We pressure washed all that stuff. I did not go through and wipe any of this stuff down. I didn't pull any of that stuff out. I blew it out. And it is what it is. We did not do anything with this. The reason that I didn't do anything with this is this is my electrical thing. You can see it's just dusty and dirty. This is my electrical thing, and I over the winter, I would say it was after Christmas and around Colleen's birthday, which is January, beginning of January. We were redoing the electrical in Colleen's garage, which I have not finished, but all of my electrical stuff is over in her garage. So there's no sense in really cleaning that thing out for me to bring all my stuff back over here and then have to, you know, reorganize everything. So I just need to bring everything back out. I need to clean up my mess in her garage. I need to finish her garage, but we started running low on Romex, so need to go get some Romex and run her outlets for her and finish running their lights, and then bring all my stuff back over here and then clean that out. And by that time, the shop will be a mess again. So another thing, I had originally said that we weren't going to pull that down and clean it and anything, and then I changed my mind and decided that we were going to pull it down and clean it all, and I never got to it, never did it. We need to get back to work. I told my buddy with the Jeep, you know, we brought the Jeep over to him so that he could put the motor and trans in and get everything wired up and get it running, which he's almost done with all that. And I told him give me a couple weeks and we'd be bringing the bed over here. Well, in that couple of weeks, I was supposed to get the grill painted, I was supposed to get the fenders jammed out, I was supposed to get the hood jammed out, and then bring the bed over here. And we have spent the last couple weeks cleaning the shop, and then there's a video that may or may not be out when this gets posted. I don't know, but a deer jumped out in front of Colleen the other night when she was just a few blocks down the road, or a few miles down the road, I should say, and she hit it, and it really messed up her truck. So there was a couple days in all this mix that we had the insurance agent out here. I had to disassemble the truck for them, and then I kind of banged some stuff and pulled some stuff and moved some stuff around, and put the truck back together so that she had a passenger side headlight again, and the passenger side door worked, and the bumper wasn't hanging off, and so there was a couple days spent on that. And we've got all the parts ordered for that, and that'll be a video all on its own that's going to be coming up soon. In the next couple weeks, we should have all of our parts for that, and we will be working on that. I've talked with my buddy that owns the Jeep. He is aware of this situation. He understands the situation. But that's Colleen's vehicle. She loves that vehicle. It is our only vehicle. We have tons of vehicles here, but that is the only one that is roadworthy and drivable. So that is our daily driver and everything to us. So we need to have that vehicle up and going at proper standards. So when all that stuff gets here, we'll be working on that. But I'm thinking tomorrow we are going to get started back on the Jeep. And I also, unfortunately, I think I mentioned it in the beginning of this vehicle, or this video, in the beginning of this video, that I had lost some content. Starting a couple weeks ago, we had like a week's worth of content that I had lost. And part of that was a Monte Carlo video, which is now gone, and I need a video for Monday. So sometime this weekend, today's Friday, sometime tomorrow or Sunday, I need to get some work done on the Monte Carlo so that we have a video for Monday. So yeah, busy weekend, busy last couple of weeks, but the shop looks good. I'm ready to get back to work. I'm happy that the shop is clean. Within a week, it's going to be a mess again, but at least, like, you know, we got a good start. The whole point of cleaning this was so that it wasn't as much dust and dirt when I start painting this Jeep. But, you know, this Jeep needs to be sanded down. It's still on primer. We got sanded down. Some of it's dry sanding, some of it's wet sanding, so we're going to make some dust. It is what it is. Anyways, I know that not everything was in this video because we lost some footage. I know it's not really an exciting video, that's why I didn't video much of it, but hopefully what I did video, and you guys got to see, you guys enjoyed. So thank you very much for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. I'm out. Have a good night. See you guys in the next one.